see if he wanted to show it on his website, and he just ignored it. So it's like, not sour grapes so much on my part, but it's like, this guy seems to be the sole proprietor of the Billy Meyer material now in the United States. And that's not to say there isn't good stuff on his site. You know, go to theyfly.com, look at the information on there, make up your own conclusions. But he seems to be very proprietary about the Meyer material, where Wendell wasn't. Wendell's like, you know, let it all hang out, let tell everybody. Everybody, you know, should have access to this information. And it's not just mine, and, you know, that I'm going to sell to you.
But wasn't there some cool story you told me about how the CIA had, like, places on the mountaintop, literally, like, surveilling it or something?
They were having problems. They wanted to infiltrate the field. They wanted to get an operative within Billy's inner circle, and they were having no success at that. And but they did decide to buy property up. Billy's farm is like on this slope, this mountain slope. So the CIA, or was it the CIA? Or was it CFR? It was something bigger than. It seemed like an agency bigger than the CIA, actually. But they bought the property that overlooked Billy's farm, so they could observe his comings and goings, which sure validates a UFO case to me, folks. The other thing that was interesting, that Wendell had a contact from an anonymous CIA source who said that, who validated, he said yes, that the Meyer case was legitimate, that he really was having contact with extraterrestrials, and that there was a woman in India that they had under surveillance, and whenever she would disappear in India, Billy would have a contact in Switzerland. So I thought that was very intriguing. That's the other thing I probably should mention, is like their precognitive abilities, that they seem to know years and years ago about our problems with the ozone layer and the problems with war in the Middle East and so forth. Charles Silva, the contact he had in Peru, Rama gave a demonstration. She was telling him that she was an extraterrestrial, and he was like, "Oh yeah, right, yeah, you look like a hippie from, you know, from Los Angeles or something." And he says, "Why should he says, "You're either a hippie working for the CIA, or you're just flat out nuts." But she said, "Okay, all right." She said, "I want you to sit down, I want you to think about your favorite teddy bear when you were a little boy. I want you to imagine it in your mind." She said, "Okay." So he sits there, he gets kind of quiet, he's got a mental image of his favorite teddy bear. And she does like this, she does like a pretend, like she's got an aerosol can. She goes, psst. That bear manifested right in front of him. Totally blew his mind. Totally blew his mind. He said, "What are you, some kind of Satanist or something?" Her point was like, no, she's like, she's just simply using of the force, you know, to create matter out of energy. She says, "Ain't no big deal, where I come from, anybody can do this." And she says, "You have the same potential." Yes.
Well, doesn't that fall along like Forbidden Planet and the id?
Ooh,
like
the
when
monster.
when they can create.
God, why did you have to bring that up? That was the most terrifying movie I ever saw when I was a kid. My dad took us to the. Have you seen the id monster from Forbidden Planet? Anybody seen that? It's the scariest monster I ever saw in my life. And what's so scary about it is it's invisible. Yeah, I love Frankenstein, man, and the dinosaur, man. I love those. It doesn't scare me at all. But boy, you give me an invisible monster, I am at the bottom. We were at the drive-in theater, and I was at the bottom of the backseat floor, just cringing. "Let's go home, Daddy. Let's go home." Dad, Uncle Dad, he's digging it. He said, "Shut up, I'm watching the movie." But yeah, the id monster. Wow. That is such a beautiful metaphor. It's like, yeah, the collective consciousness, yeah, this is what we can create. We can create our own minds. We can create our nightmares, or we can create our most beautiful dreams.
So are we ready for it? I mean, that's the...
That's right. That's maybe the discipline that we have to be able to create the good stuff before